What up, y'all? Once again, my name is Macaulay Sexton, and this is Sexton Sobriety. If you're new to the channel, I want to ask that you please like and subscribe, and I appreciate every single one of you. I will be dropping my podcast at 1,000 subs, so let's run it up. Let's get there. Today, I'm going to talk about cravings. All right, cravings in early recovery. These can be very discouraging. It can make you feel like, damn, why am I even doing this? And I understand that because that's how I felt. Basically, in early recovery, I was craving opiates and benzos. It was so strong. It was like dominating all my other thoughts. And I was like, dude, how am I going to manage this? How am I going to deal with this? This is going to be miserable. I'm just doomed to be craving and to have anxiety and pain and all this stuff that I wanted to avoid. It was like, damn, I don't know if I can do this. Okay. And this persisted for a while. What changed that was actually working on my motivation to use. So addressing the past trauma, addressing the behavioral issues, and getting more in alignment with my true self. So that was the first thing that I had to do. The second thing was to find direct actions that helped. So for me, the first thing was sharing how I felt. So talking to someone that I could trust and say, hey, I'm having a craving right now. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling depressed. You can do this with a clinical professional. That would be really great. You can also do this with a peer in recovery or a sponsor or a mentor or a recovery coach like me. So basically, there are a lot of resources, but you can't just sit there and expect the cravings to just disappear, in my experience. Okay, so basically, with practice and repetition, the craving started to subside. And I want to give this analogy. So basically, think about it like this. You have two neural pathways. One of them is the craving, and then the destination is using, okay? The second pathway, which is another option, is to actually talk about it. So you have the craving, but then you talk about it, you share openly about it, you're honest about it, then you go into action. You go to a meeting if you're into 12-step recovery. You meditate if you're into that. You go outside and do grounding exercises if you're into that. And then that actually takes you down the road to recovery, where the destination is maintain sobriety and recovery. So basically, when you're new, it's like you haven't taken that path yet. You don't know. Maybe it's really tall grass and there's not a path that's beaten yet. But the craving path on this side, where you know the destination is using, the path is very clear. You know, it's very beaten. It's very worn in. You can see clearly, where it goes. And sometimes, when you're early in recovery, it can even get to a place to where you're like, maybe it'll go a different way. So there's this weird insanity with it, to where you'll keep doing the same thing and thinking that you're going to go to a different destination, and that's not the case in my experience. So basically, if you just give yourself a chance and you practice going the other way with repetition, and you do this consistently, it will become second nature. You will immediately go for it, and that's where your brain will go. And so then cravings start to stop, because it's like you don't even entertain the craving. That doesn't even happen. So now, if I have an experience that's triggering in some way, my brain immediately goes to, I should talk about this. I should, go into some action about this, either write it down, or, do some meditation, or do some positive affirmations, or go do some cardio. For me, cardio is a big one. Dealing with any type of, adverse feelings, I can go do some cardio, and that gives me a lot of relief. Taking a hot bath, taking a hot shower, taking a cold shower, jumping in some cold water. So there's so many resources out there that you can utilize. You can go to counseling, psychotherapy, therapists, like all this stuff. There's so many options out there now. It's just, you have to hear about them to know that they exist, because a lot of times, in our culture, we just only know the only way to deal is to change the way that we feel. And it's unfortunate, but that's just how a lot of people deal with life. And you go through life not really addressing anything. And so then stuff starts piling up. And so then when you think about that stuff, it can create a craving, a trigger that then turns into a craving, and then that turns into the action. And it's a perpetual cycle. It's a loop. And that's the insanity of addiction. It also involves the mental obsession. For me, it was just about changing the way that I felt and avoiding reality. And so, like I said, this creates more problems, and you really just deep down, so you'll know like this is not working. But like I said, if you're not presented an alternative solution, then how are you even going to know? So that's why I do this. That's why I'm here. I want to let you guys know that you can get over cravings and they can be completely gone in your life. I'm not saying that triggering things aren't going to exist anymore. I'm not saying that you're not going to have strong feelings or anxiety or depression. No, like that stuff will minimize though when you stop changing the way that you feel with substances. So that's why I'm such a huge advocate for chemical abstinence. So not changing the way that you feel with anything. For me, I've taken it super far because I'm an extremist, bro. So I went from, doing opiates and benzos and doing stimulants when I was really messed up and, abusing psychedelics and all of this stuff. I went from there to now. I don't consume caffeine. I don't consume nicotine. I don't consume any mind-altering substances, drugs, medication, none of that. And I've even taken it further to I don't consume foods that cause a huge change in my mentality, So you don't have to take it that far. You know what I mean? But the reason I'm sharing this is just to show how crazy it is that you can go from one side of the spectrum to the other. And so it's possible. Anyone can recover. You just need honesty, willingness, and some action, as well as support. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. I always respond to emails, DMs. You can DM me on TikTok at Sex and Sobriety, on Instagram at Sex and Sobriety. You can email me at sextandsobriety@gmail.com. And I also want to say I have a Patreon up, and I can put a link to it. If you want personalized recovery content that I curate for you, I'm willing to do that. So don't hesitate to reach out. Much love to anyone. If anyone is interested in my recovery coaching services as well, send me an email, sextandsobriety@gmail.com. Much love to everyone. Be easy on yourselves. And don't hesitate to like and hit me up with comments and let me know any subjects you want me to talk about. I'm more than willing to address anything. So much love to y'all. Please be easy on yourselves. Peace out. Keep it trill.